Imagine this. You're sealed inside a metal tube 300 feet underwater with 150 other people. For 6 months, no sunlight, no fresh air, and definitely no pizza delivery. Welcome to life on a nuclear submarine. Today, we're diving deep, literally into what actually happens when submariners disappear beneath the waves for half a year. Trust me, it's way weirder than you think. Before that, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button for upcoming videos. Hope you enjoy what really happens inside a nuclear submarine for 6 months. First, let's talk about space. Or should I say, the lack of it. A nuclear submarine might be 560 feet long, but most of that is packed with missiles, torpedoes, nuclear reactors, and equipment. The crew? They get whatever's left over. We're talking about 150 or more crew members sharing space smaller than a typical house. The sleeping quarters, called berthing areas, have bunks stacked 3 high. Each bunk is basically a coffin-sized space with a curtain for privacy. But here's where it gets interesting. Junior crew members often hot rack, which means sharing bunks in rotation with different shifts. Yeah, you heard that right. Hot racking means you literally sleep in a bed someone else just got out of. Still warm. Nothing says military discipline like climbing into your coworker's residual body heat. And personal space? You get about 2 cubic feet for all your belongings. That's roughly the size of a microwave. Your entire life for 6 months fits in a microwave. So, what's a typical day like down there? Well, first problem, there's no day. The submarine runs on an 18-hour schedule instead of 24. You work 6 hours on watch at your station, then you have 6 hours for training, maintenance, and eating, followed by 6 hours for sleep. Your body is constantly confused. It's like permanent jet lag, except you never actually go anywhere. Here's something surprising. The food is actually pretty good. At least at first. Submarines start with fresh food like fruits, vegetables, milk, and eggs. But after 2 to 3 weeks, that fresh food runs out. Then it's all canned, frozen, and dehydrated for the next 5 or more months. The crew eats 4 meals a day to maintain morale, and the most popular meal is mid-rats or midnight rations, which usually means burgers or pizza. The galley, that's the kitchen, is about the size of a small walk-in closet, but pumps out over 450 meals per day. The cooks are basically miracle workers, or wizards. Probably wizards. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room, or should I say the smell in the tube. Showers are limited to 2 to 3 minutes, a few times per week. You turn on water, soap up, turn on water to rinse, that's it. Water is rationed because making fresh water takes energy from the reactor. Some submarines even have water hours, which are specific times when you can use water. And here's a fun fact. On some older submarines, if the boat performs emergency maneuvers, they shut off the water. Imagine being covered in soap when the alarm sounds. Just standing there, sudsy, waiting. Laundry is done communally in tiny washing machines, and socks and underwear mysteriously disappear, just like at home. The smell? Well, submarines have a unique aroma. Veterans call it eau de submarine, which is a mix of diesel, amine from the CO2 scrubbers, cooking oil, and humanity. The Navy actually studies this smell. New crew members can smell it immediately, but after a few weeks, your nose gives up. Complete olfactory defeat. Here's where it gets wild. 6 months, 0 sunlight. Vitamin D deficiency is guaranteed. So everyone takes supplements. Your circadian rhythm completely breaks down. Some crew members develop what's called submarine pallor, which basically means you turn into a vampire. Mood changes, sleep problems, and general grogginess are common side effects of never seeing the sun. But how do you breathe down there? Great question. The nuclear reactor isn't just for propulsion, it powers a system called electrolysis. Electricity splits seawater, which is H2O, into hydrogen and oxygen. The oxygen is pumped into the sub, and CO2 is scrubbed out using special filters with amine. The air is constantly recycled and monitored to keep everyone alive. So, yes, you're breathing recycled air for 6 months. Every breath has been through someone else's lungs. Romantic, isn't it? Now for the really tough part, isolation. Submarines must stay hidden, so communication is severely restricted. Family messages called familygrams are limited to 40 words or less. These messages are screened and can be delayed by weeks. No bad news is passed on. If there's a family emergency, they'll just say, "Call home when you can." There are absolutely no personal phone calls, no internet, and no social media for the entire deployment. Imagine missing your kids' first steps, anniversaries, birthdays, and finding out about it through a 40-word telegram. That's the reality. For entertainment, there are movie nights on a small screen, card games and board games, and books that get passed around until they fall apart. Some submarines have small gyms, which basically means one treadmill and some weights. Submarine-wide tournaments are common, with crew members competing in cribbage, poker, and chess. Oh, and pranks. So many pranks. When you're trapped with the same people for months, you get creative, hiding alarm clocks, plastic wrapping bunks, switching name tags. Submariners have an entire underground comedy scene. Let's be real, this sounds like psychological torture. And honestly, it kind of is. There's extensive psychological screening before deployment. Crew members develop extreme discipline and teamwork. The term shipmate isn't just a word. These people become family. Mental health is monitored, but there's a culture of toughness. Submariners develop what's called a submarine mentality, which means staying calm under pressure, being adaptable, and having a very dark sense of humor. There's a reason submariners have a special insignia, the dolphins. You earn them by qualifying on every system of the submarine. It's not just a job, it's a test of whether you can handle isolation, pressure, and living in a metal tube with recycled air. When they finally surface after months underwater, crew members often experience sensory overload from sunlight and open spaces. They have to readjust to a 24-hour day and reconnect with families who've lived entire seasons without them. Some even report feeling more comfortable in enclosed spaces afterward. One submariner said returning home felt like being an alien visiting Earth. Everything was too bright, too loud, too spacious. So, what really happens inside a nuclear submarine for 6 months? You live in a space the size of a microwave. You sleep in someone else's warm bed. You shower for 90 seconds. You breathe recycled air. You miss everything happening in the outside world. And somehow, you come out the other side having done one of the most challenging jobs on Earth. These submariners are protecting nations, gathering intelligence, and maintaining peace, all while living in conditions most of us couldn't handle for 6 days, let alone 6 months. The next time you're complaining about your commute or your small apartment, just remember, somewhere right now, someone is 500 feet underwater eating dehydrated eggs, wearing 3-day-old underwear, and keeping the world safe. If you found this fascinating, hit that like button and let me know in the comments, could you handle 6 months on a nuclear submarine? Be honest, and subscribe for more videos about the most extreme jobs and experiences on Earth. Thanks for watching, and remember, appreciate your shower today. Seriously.